Hello, my name is Tim Druitt and welcome to this short presentation on using video to improve learning effectiveness. It's actually based on a presentation I delivered at the World of Learning Conference in October 2015. So over the next few minutes we're going to look at the themes on this slide. So first of all, why use video? And then we're going to look at this idea of moving from chunks of learning to bite-sized learning and how video can really help create short bursts of micro-learning, which is one of the new terms today. And then look at how you can use video throughout the learning cycle. There's lots of different and exciting ways you can use video in your learning programs. And finally, for those of you that want to rush off and grab a flip camera or a smartphone after this session and film your own learning videos, two of my top tips for giving your clips a professional edge. Right, so let's start by thinking about why we use video in the first place. Well, it does appeal to lots of different learning style preferences. Video has been a long established way of delivering information, communication, entertainment, and so there's usually something for everybody in a video clip. And depending on what you put in a video clip can be a lot more memorable. And studies have shown that you can record 5 times as much content through a video as you would by reading it on a page. And if your sources are from the business, respected champions, subject matter experts that people know and recognise, then your message can be so much more credible and delivered by a video clip. Saves time. We often say a picture paints 1,000 words. Well, a video could probably paint 10,000, 100,000. You can just fit so much more content into a shorter time frame using a video. Great for mobile. Most smartphones, are built for video. They play video back very well. So if you're looking at a mobile learning strategy, maybe getting started with mobile learning, then make it a video-based mobile learning strategy, and you'll get some great results very quickly. And finally, if you're moving into the area of user-generated content where experts in the business share their hints and tips, experiences for the benefit of everybody else, you can use your smartphone, create those selfie videos, post them and share them internally. So again, video, a great way to capture that real practical training from people in the business. I personally believe that we're seeing a big change in how our organisations want to learn. There really is less time for learners to spend in learning at their desktop. Studies show that we maybe spend about 1% of our working time actually in learning. And there really is a move now to delivering shorter bursts of learning at the time and point of need, performance support. And video is a really good way to create those short bursts of learning that enable people to get through the next few minutes of the task at hand. And I'm seeing this trend for shorter bursts of learning coming from learners themselves and what they ask for. So some people say, look, just give me the basics. Just give it to me very quickly. So give it to me in 2 minutes, say. And for that might just be reading a bit about the topic from a PDF or maybe a short video clip. Others may want a bit more depth to the subject. So for them, maybe a longer video clip, 3 to 5 minutes perhaps, or a mobile learning nugget. Will suit them fine. For others, maybe who need to become more expert or who repeatedly come back to the same topic time and time again, they will probably want to set a longer period of time, 10, 15 minutes aside, and maybe to do a traditional learning course. So we're seeing that video can be really good in meeting that requirement, particularly sort of the short and medium duration type of learning needs. So now we're going to move on to discuss where we can use video to underpin the learning life cycle. And as you can see from the slide, it's virtually everywhere. And I'll break the discussion into a few sections. One on where we can use video at the start of a learning process, in the sort of main body of a learning process, after some learning has happened, help with the transfer of learning back into the workplace, and then a brief discussion on some of the methodologies for deploying those video clips. So let's start with how we can use video at the start of the learning life cycle. Well, we can use it as a learning primer, so maybe to give an overview of a course, give people a taste of what they're about to learn. That could be animation, it could be the trainer even just talking to the camera, giving that information. Then we can look at how we can use video to grab attention, so the so-called learning hook. So it could be dramatized example of a health and safety infringement before you do some health and safety training. Or it could be an example of an employee conversation that went terribly wrong with some humour, Again, it grabs people's attention and gets them focused on what's going to follow. Definitely winning hearts and minds. That's a really great use for video, especially if it's a subject matter expert or leader in the business, or somebody who's already champions the skills that are going to be taught. Having them talk about it, position it, is a great way to motivate people to partake in the learning. And finally, to build rapport. Now, that could be the trainer introducing themselves, but where I've seen this used really well is in coaching scenarios, where a coachee is able to review some video bios, maybe half a dozen of coaches, and maybe make their short list prior to that chemistry conversation, as it's called, making that selection. So a great way to use video there. So then we move maybe to the main body of the training itself. And of course, video is a great way to show, as it says there, what can't be seen. So things that you couldn't possibly bring into the classroom, you can take a video out to. And we've even heard people thinking about using drones now to send cameras up to places people wouldn't normally get to see at all. You can use video to show good and bad practice. And obviously, a lot of us grew up with videos that did just that. You see it done well, badly, and you discuss and compare the different approaches. Definitely for show how-tos. I mean, YouTube is awash of how-to videos. So, as I said in my introduction, a picture speaks 1,000 words, a video 10,000, 100,000. So use video where it's just very simple, straightforward way to show people how to do something. And finally, all of those can be used to trigger discussion. Show a clip, pause it, and ask people to comment. A great way to get the conversation started in the training room. And here are some other ways to use video in learning. First one, to provide alternative viewpoints, particularly relevant if you've maybe filmed lots of different people for their views on a topic, and you maybe decide just to use one viewpoint in the training itself. But it might still be valuable, to share those other views, other ways of doing things with the trainees. And so in which case you might want to put those up on a corporate intranet or in an e-learning course, in a further information tab, for example. So a great way to utilize all the different clips that you might film when you're putting together some learning. Self-paced immersive role play, more advanced use of video, typically with an e-learning course, where you put the learner in some real situations that you filmed. They maybe see a customer come in to a retail environment, or a member of staff in a discussion, and they answer questions. Their answers dictate how the video plays out. They see the scenario pan out in front of their eyes in quite a realistic format. So again, a new, different way to use video. And finally, best practice sharing. If you've filmed lots of subject matter experts giving their hints and tips, then it's a great way to use video to do that, particularly if you've got a lot of people who are leaving the organisation. A great way to capture their knowledge before they retire, and you can build up a whole library of sort of your own how-to clips produced by people who know the practical ways to do things. For me, the most important part of the learning life cycle is what happens after the training has taken place. The all-important transfer of learning back into the workplace. And video is a great way to support this. First of all, you might think about learning reinforcement type video clips. And those could be things like short 2-3 minute videos refreshing the learner on each of the topics covered on the training course. And I've seen this done well with the trainer speaking face to camera with text and graphics in the background to support what they're saying. Performance support, we talked about that earlier. And again, video, a great way to deliver short how-to clips, short video checklists, to enable people to do things differently when they get back to the workplace at a specific point in time, maybe doing a process or before going into a customer meeting or a sales negotiation. They grab a quick how-to guide via video. And finally, just a few words on maybe how you distribute those video clips. So this bit applies to all the different parts of the learning life cycle. So mobile learning, I've talked about how video is great for mobile learning. And yes, all those things, especially in the reinforcement and the performance support side of things, having those videos on a mobile phone, in an app, on a mobile website, a great way to get that content to people, when they need it after the period of training. Interactive PDFs. I think actually the PDF needs to have a higher profile because with the new PDF creation tools, you can now embed video clips into pages in a PDF. And again, you could bring a number of things together, such as a paper checklist with the trainer talking people through, or maybe use some of your reinforcement videos in an e-version of the course workbook. And we're seeing that more and more, where the workbook actually becomes a multimedia piece. Very exciting. And finally, interactive videos. I talked about the self-paced immersive earlier, but interactive videos now we're seeing where you can pause the video to answer a question, or tap a spot in the video and another video plays, giving you more detail about one specific point that's being discussed. So that's coming. In fact, BBC News website has been trying out some of those ideas recently. Very exciting potential for learning. Okay, so hopefully I've given you lots of ideas of where you can use video in your learning programs, and you're keen to rush off and grab a camera and start filming. But before you do, here are my 2 top tips. The first one is the so-called rule of thirds. And basically that says when you film somebody, don't put them in the center of the screen, but put them to one side, so either to the left or to the right, along an imaginary line as shown in that picture there. It does add a professional edge to your filming. And in fact, if you look at any news interview, the subject is always to one side. Also, it gives you more space as well in editing if you want to put graphics or text to support what the person's saying. The other tip is to actually reject almost the first 5 or 10 minutes of footage that you film when you're interviewing somebody, because usually they're getting used to looking into the camera. They take a while to get settled in and relaxed, and sometimes that impacts the quality of the answer and the delivery they give. So ask your questions in the order you planned, but then after say 5-10 minutes, go back to the beginning and ask those initial questions all over again. And you'll find that you'll get a much better response, and often because the person's more into the rhythm of things and they give you a much better answer. And the clip just stands out as much better than it would otherwise. So that brings us to the end of this short presentation. I do hope you found it useful and has given you lots of ideas. If you've got any questions or comments, and would like to know more about how you can use video in your learning programs, then my contact details and website information is there. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.